seen this weekend again another shooting taking place in Mike in South Armagh, where well, basically a few scum went in through a boy's door and shot him in the legs. Now some people say it's to do with a robbery, and some people still believe in Santa Claus. But anyway, the point is that these people can go about shooting people unhindered because we haven't got a police force in South Armagh. Again, it's not a reflection on the police, the individuals, it's a reflection on the overall policy of policing. They're trying to negotiate, and this is the part they haven't told people, they're trying to negotiate with the local thugs, not only in South Armagh, in other parts of Northern Ireland, where we'll see these community policing projects taken off. In other words, we'll see the terrorists policing their own communities, so the police don't have to go in. The policing in South Armagh will be a case that we will have the local vigilantes in the shape of the IRA or dissidents or whatever you want to call them. They're all the one who will enforce their own law and order, and that could be anything from breaking people's legs to shooting them, whatever they deem necessary. Now, is that the type of future policing that we want? I don't think so. But I just noticed there in Hansard, something was raised back in 2005 by ourselves. We raised a number of names of people who were involved in smuggling, who were up to their eyeballs in smuggling. Now that was back in 2005. We had actually mentioned them as far back as 2000. How long did it take the police and the customs to move on them? 2007, 2008 and 2009 before they moved on them individuals. So for 9 years roughly after we had mentioned them, it took the police and the customs to move on them, and it was only through pressure that they actually did move on them. Now these are the type of people who have to be read up within the communities. These are the people who need their assets seized and taken away from them. The criminality is still ripe in South Armagh. The smuggling is still ripe. The diesel, the laundering of fuel, you name it, it's going on. And they're still making millions and nobody seems to care. We hear this talk about police and justice being devolved and we're all supposed to jump for joy. It's a sad day for this country whenever police and justice is handed over to the very people who were responsible for butchering and terrorising the community for this last 35 years. Now we served a writ on Martin McGuinness because it seems to be the only people who are interested in holding these people accountable are the very innocent victims that they created in the first place. Nobody else seems to be interested. Certainly from a politician's perspective, nobody seems to want to hold these people to account. They keep telling us them is the bad old days and we don't want to go back to them. Well, people within our organisation and other victims' organisations and ordinary victims on the street that you would talk who are not involved with different groups will tell you they live it day and daily, and they will until the day they die. So for to say about putting it behind you and we must move on is all well and good for somebody who hasn't lost their father or their mother or their brothers and their sisters. It's not so easy when you get up in the morning and you can't stand up. You have to make your way into a wheelchair because some scum planted a bomb and blew both your legs off or one of your legs off. This is the reality of what we're living with daily, and this is what we're asking for the help for, to deal with this situation so we can help these victims, not ignore them but help them. And for people like Spratt and them to talk about the victims and about the fat cats within the victims just shows you the ignorance of them people. They know nothing about what it's like to live as a victim. Now, the other whole thing here we have to say is about these on the runs. On the runs have been given an amnesty. Because you tell me how many of them have been arrested and charged. None of them. Some of them have been given royal pardons, but whenever you asked our politicians and asked the government officials, Mr. Woodward wouldn't know the truth if it jumped up and bit him on the nose. And neither would Mr. Goggins. The one thing we will say is the victims haven't given up. We intend to hold these people accountable. We won't get every one of them, but we're going after Slab, we're going after Martin McGuinness, and there's another one to come. There's 3 individuals who we intend to go after through the courts. Martin McGuinness travels around the world portraying himself as some type of statesman. This man is a terrorist. Not only is he a terrorist, he has been responsible for organising mass murder where people, women and children, were murdered. And they say he has a mandate. Of course he has a mandate, but so did Hitler. Hitler had a mandate. Did that give him justification to do what he did? I don't think so. The victims want to move on, and the victims will move on, but in a direction that they feel comfortable in. We will not be dictated to by murderers, because they've got a mindset when they murder people, they think they can do whatever they want. Well, they can't. Some people may not have seen through your evil, corrupt way, but we have, and we intend to expose it. We will tell the story of the innocent victims from South Armagh to the very doors of Washington, the White House in Washington. From there to Colombia, to Spain, to Israel, around the world, we will tell the message of the dirt that yous are.